Hello everyone. In this session, we will try to discuss about another important type of the check valve, which is known as the pilot operated check valve. See, the schematic diagram shows the what we can say the pilot operated check valve. Here in this case, the opening it consists of the free flow. The another one is nothing but a pilot. The another one is the flow normally blocked. See here, even here also the movement of the puppet, movement of the puppet is also activated by means of the pressurized by means of the spring. Now here the another portion which is having a piston mechanism. Now the function of the pilot operates the check valve is similar to that of a normal check valve, unless it is get an extra pressure signal through the pilot line. The pilot allows the free flow in one direction and prevents the flow in the another direction until the pilot pressure is applied. See, this is a what we can say the mechanism, especially in the case of the check valve. Either it may be in the case of the pilot operated check valve, or it may be a restricted type of check valve, or it may be a normal simple check valve. See, the flow rate is in only one direction, but it is restricted in the other direction. In the case of the pilot pressure acts the puppet to open, and the flow is blocked from both the sides. These are all the some of the examples with respect to the different types of the check valves. The next part what we are discussing is with respect to the spool valves. As you know that the spool valves are something like what we can say a reciprocating type. The spool valves, as the name it says that it is having a sliding shaft inside the bore, where a large grooves are there, and even there will be a openings will be there. Even in the openings also, depending upon the type of the valves, the number of the openings are increased. See, this type of construction or make it look like a spool. For that reason only it is called as the spool valve. Now a clearance will be there between the spool and as well as the body for the easy movement inside the housing. The quality of the seal and the amount of the leakage that depends upon the amount of the clearance, and also the type of the fluid, and also viscosity of the fluid, and the pressurization which is being applied over the spool. The groove guides the fluid flow by interconnecting or blocking the holes, or it may be the ports. The spool valves are categorized according to the number of the operating positions and the way of the hydraulic lines in connection. Now a very simple spool valve is as shown in the figure. Now here, see, one of the simplest spool is nothing but a two-way spool valve. Now here in this case, even with respect to what we can say the namings is nothing but a standardized one. That standardized we are maintaining throughout. See, there are two openings here. One is nothing but a port P, the another one is nothing but the port A. These are all the standard terms. Normally what we are using it, the port P is representing the pressure port, the port T is representing the tank port, the port A and as well as the port B is nothing but the actuator ports, which is also called as the working ports. Either it may be an inlet port or it may be the outlet port. See, the actuator can be moved in the forward or it may be a backward direction depending upon the convenience and also the pressure and the tank port with the actuator ports. Now here the schematic diagram shows the what we can say the body, or it may be it's also called as the valve body. The valve body, what it consists of a plunger type mechanism. Normally we used to call it as a spool, which is having a piston head. Okay, that piston head is blocking the port, or it may port A or it may be port P, depending upon the pressurization what it has been applied over it. In the forward stroke, in the retention stroke, because of the spring pressure, it moves back. Now number of ports. The first one what we are discussing is with respect to the two-way valves. See, the two-way valves, even in the previous also what we had discussed is nothing but a very simple mechanism with respect to the two-way valve. Now here in this continuation we are discussing in detail with respect to the two-way valves. The two-way valves are having only two ports. Okay, the two ports are nothing but the walls are also known as on and off wall because they allow the fluid to flow in only one direction. For that reason only, it is called as on and off walls. See, normally the walls are in closed position. The walls are available as normally open and normally closed function. These are the simplest type of the spool walls. Even here also, the representation with respect to the wall portings, it will be represented by means of the P and as well as A. When the actuation is not applied to the right, the port P is connected with the port A, which is as shown in the figure. Therefore, the actuation does not takes place. Similarly, when the actuation force is applied on the P, then afterwards what will happen? It will opens and then afterwards the flow is taking place. The next part what we are discussing is with respect to the three-way valves. See here in this, by looking into the schematic diagram, we can say there are three openings is there. One is nothing but the port P, the another one is nothing but the port T, the another one is nothing but the port A. These are the three openings. For that reason, it is called as the three-way valve. Now, in this, the valve, the pressurized, or it may be the pressure port, the pressurization port, once if it is open, the flow of the fluid, either it may be gas or it may be air or it may be the oils, it is taking place from the port P to port A. Once if the same pressurization, if it is actuated on the what we can say the spool will starts moving from the left to right. Then automatically it is opening to the T port and as well as the A port. As it is opening to the T port and as well as the A port, the fluid may starts in a reverse direction. See, but here fluid starts flowing in a reverse direction. That too, especially in the case of the hydraulics. In some cases, the natural position, the neutral position is also available when both the ports are blocked. Generally, these valves are also used in the operation of a single acting cylinders. The next part what we are discussing is with respect to the four-way valve. The four-way valves are also another type of the valve which consists of the four ports are there, or the four ways are there. The first one is nothing but a pump port, the another which is represented by means of a P, the another one is nothing but a tank port which is represented by means of a T, the other two is nothing but a working ports which are represented by means of A and as well as B. The primary functions of the four-way valve is to pressurize and the exhaust to working port A and as well as a port B alternatively. In the sense, it will be something like a continuous, or it may be in a sequential form. The figure shows the three position four-way valve. Now here in this case, these types of the valves have a three switching positions. Okay, they have a variety of possible flow paths configured. Both have a identical flow path. In the schematic diagram, we can see that the port A and as well as a port B is nothing but a working ports. The port T and as well as port P is nothing but a pump port and as well as the tank port. From the pump port, or it may be a pressurizing port, the pressurization it will be done automatically. The fluid or it may be a gas or it may be a hot oils, it will be passes through it. In the second sketch, it is clearly shows that from the port P, the flow is taking place through the port B. After the working cycle, then the oil or it may be the gas, the same thing, it will be expelled through the port A to the T. The same way it can be operated. Because of the movement of the spool opening and as well as the closing, what it is taking place, the working it will be a continuous one. Now the schematic diagram shows the four-way valve. Now here in this case, the port T, port P and as well as a port T. Then again the another one is nothing but port A and as well as a port B. Now there's the movement, normally the movement it will be taking place. In that case, P to A, or it may be B to T, or A to T, and P to B it is taking place. But the another third case, which is if the piston is lying in between, if the piston is lying in between in such a way that it is blocking the port A and as well as B. In that case, the pressurization, or it may be the flow from the application end to the tank, even that is also not possible. The next part what we are discussing is nothing but the tandem centered 3 position 4-way direction control valve. See, why we are calling this one as something like a tandem? See, here in this case, that as the name itself is suggested a tandem, a groove is there, a small type groove is there. The movement is taking place only a small portion. Okay, but the principle, it is same as that of the it is the same as that of the what we can say the sorry, the 4-way valve. The tandem center results the locked actuator. However, the pump and as well as the tank flow takes place to the atmospheric temperature. This kind of configuration can be used when the load is needed to hold, and the disadvantage of this is high pressure pumping. In case of the closed center can be removed by using this configuration. The another consequence is that instead of going for a tandem, the next another type is nothing but a regenerative one. The regenerative center is another important type, or the common center configuration used in the case of the hydraulic circuits, but not in the case of what we can say the pneumatic circuits. The next part is nothing but a 2-position 4-way valves. See, why we are calling this one as a 2-position 4-way valves? See, it is having a 2 switching positions and do not have any mid position. Therefore, it is also known as a impulse valve. Even here also there are 4 ports, 4 openings will be there. The port T, port P, and as well as port A, and as well as port B. The pressurization it is done from the port P to the B, and in the reverse stroke, the pressurization in a reverse way, it is done from the port A to T. The same way, once if the piston is in the reverse motion, the pressurization it will be from the port B to port T. It means that these type of valves, it can be used in the case of the double cylinder applications. The next part what we are discussing is with respect to the classification based on the actuation mechanism. See, this we have discussed in detail. Now here just I am briefing it. I am not briefing it, just glancing it. Okay, as we know that the actuation mechanism, it depends upon the type of the actuation what we are doing it. The first one, and as well as a very simple one, is nothing but the manual actuation. The second one is nothing but the mechanical actuation. The third is nothing but a solenoid actuation, and the fourth is nothing but a hydraulic actuation, and the fifth one is nothing but a pneumatic actuation. See, depending upon the type of the actuation what we are using it, depending upon the type of the actuation what we are doing it, either it may be a manual, or by means of the mechanical, or by means of solenoid, or by means of hydraulic or pneumatics, these are also classified. Now, in the case of the mechanical DCV valves, the spool actuation, it can be done even by means of the what we can say the plunger, or by means of cam, or even by means of a rack, and as well as the pinion arrangement also. Now, the piston movement or the actuation movement, it can be done very easily in the case of a solenoid actuation. The solenoid actuation is also called as the electrical actuation. Why this is called as the electrical actuation means the actuation of the solenoid is done by means of an electric field. There is a 2 coils over there, which is called as a energizing coil. Another coil is called as a armature coil. Once if the energizing coil is energized, automatically the armature will start moving it. Once if the armature starts moving it, the to and fro motion is taking place. This is a concept what it is in the case of the solenoid actuation. The next part what we are discussing is with respect to the hydraulic actuation. Here in this case, the hydraulic actuation is done by means of the hydraulic pressure or by means of a oil pressure. For that reason only, and also here the actuation is done by means of a pilot actuated valve. See, even this pilot actuation or the actuation on the cylinder, it can be controlled by means of a needle valve. In the same way, or it may be in the same pattern, even the pneumatic actuation can also be done by using a pneumatic pressure on the piston.